What's up, guys? It's John here, Sports Entertainment Weekly, and there's been a few requests, so I wanted to go into the Thursday game and then a few Sunday games. And we did already, if you didn't see the video, I put out a few videos ago regarding the Chargers-Texans game, but we did make a bet on that, and it's pending, so you'll see. We picked the Texans +5. I explained in that video why I picked them. So 28 to win 25. And then this one, we're going with the Saints. They're getting 2.5. I bought the extra half a point to bring it to 3, which wins us 25 for an extra couple bucks, because with 2.5, I would just hate to fall into that trap and it'd be a field goal game. If we don't cover, at least we get, if it is the 3, we will get our money back. So anyway, those are the two picks, and the Saints one I find very interesting. There's a reason I chose the Saints. First and foremost, I find it very intriguing that the Queen just recently died, and now we have the Saints who are going to be representing the home team in London. And, you know, they got Winston, arguably the most famous name ever if you're from the UK. But more importantly, and James is his first name, Jameis. King James, another reference. More importantly than that, there's two other things I noticed. And the first one being Archie. Archie Manning, obviously, is probably the most popular Saints quarterback ever, maybe with the exception of Drew Brees. And Queen Elizabeth's grandson is named Archie. So I think these coincidences are too much to ignore when you have very peculiar names. And the Saints, of all teams, just happen to be the one representing London here. So, in my opinion, these are signs that the Saints are going to win. Again, a lot of times, too, since it's not really a home game, I've noticed this in the London games they've done thus far, a lot of the home, quote, home teams will still win. So, anyway, another reason I like the Saints is if you look at the against the spread, the Vikings are 1-2, the Saints are 0-3, and on the year, there's only been 2 teams that have not covered the spread. So the Texans haven't won a game, but they've covered the spread twice. A lot of teams that only won one game have covered the spread twice. The only teams that have not covered the spread are the Saints, and the second one's very ironic, and I'll give you guys a second to think who might be the only other team that hasn't covered a Las Vegas spread. Who might it be? And sure enough, the only other one that hasn't covered a Las Vegas spread is the Las Vegas Raiders, who are 0-3 against the spread. So, now they're also 0-3 on the year, but like I said, so are the Texans, but they've covered the spread. You can go to any team and you'll see that they've covered the spread at least one time. The Texans actually covered it twice. So, knowing that the Raiders and the Saints are the only teams that have not covered the spread, I feel like it's extremely fitting that the Raiders would be the last team to cover the spread. Though, I'm not going to lie, this game I want to stay away from as far as I can, because while I believe that, I also don't like the fact that they're getting 2.5 against the Broncos. The Broncos, who, while they struggled, have been way more impressive than the Raiders. That line seems like a trap that the Raiders might win. But this is, again, more pertaining to the Saints. I think they're going to break the spread before the Raiders do, leaving the Raiders as the last and only team to not cover a spread. So between the names, the gematria, the line is a pretty fair line. I think a lot of people would like the Vikings here because they probably feel like they're a better team, and it's not really a home game for the Saints. So it all lines up, the trap, the spread, the symbolism. So the Saints, that's the reason that I did choose the Saints for the first leg of Sunday. And it's just because of like I said, they have a lot of continuity things that I've noticed. Now, again, you can do the 2.5. I spent a little bit, so I didn't get as good of odds by taking the 3 points, but I'd rather be a little conservative here and buy that half a point, which you'll be able to do on your sports book. And then going into the first chronological game, Dolphins at Bengals. And this is another one that just seems to have trap written all over it, because the way both of these teams have started this year, I don't know why the Dolphins would be getting 4 points. It just doesn't make sense to me. If anything, I would think it'd be close to even odds, because though they were at home, they beat Buffalo. They've shown that Hill, Waddle, and Tua are a pretty significant force. So nothing would tell me that the Bengals are going to win this game, outside of the fact that they're just like last week almost against the Jets, where I thought the 6 points was a little too high. I feel like this is too generous for the Bengals to be only giving up 4. It just doesn't make sense to me. Again, coming off of their line against the Jets, where they were on the road, and now they're playing a much better Dolphins team, I would think that the Dolphins would be almost even. Like I said, the fact that they have the Bengals favored by 4 tells me that something's going to happen, I believe, with Tua, where they're going to say something along the lines of, he's injured, he's not playing like himself, because he was, quote, injured last week. So here, I really do like the Bengals again. And there's also another thing I've noticed. The AFC East has played the AFC West this year, and the games wind up evening out. So, like, the Patriots got 2 wins against the AFC West, but then they lost to the Ravens. The Jets beat the Ravens and Browns, but then they lost to the Bengals. And that seems to be how it's going. So the Dolphins are currently 1-0 against the AFC West, and I think the Bengals are going to be the ones to either beat them, but if, like I said, if nothing else, I think they'll beat them and cover the spread here. So here we got the Bengals -4. And again, it's another one where it's very easy to see, like, it looks like it could be a trap, and maybe the Dolphins only lose by 3. But I do think the Bengals win this game by more than people are expecting, just because I think the narrative is there's a lot of people are going to be taking the money line on the Dolphins, in my opinion. So the Bengals -4 I like. Again, it's your prerogative if you want to buy it up to 3. I personally would not advise it for this kind of juice, because you're paying 37. To me, it's just not worth it. And that's another way Vegas gets their money. So 25, cover the regular spread here. I only took the half point in the London game because it was only about a $2 difference. So we're going to take this. And again, the reason we like the Bengals is, are the Dolphins going to start 4-0 against the spread? Well, they might. You know, it's unlikely. And based off the AFC East versus AFC West matchups, the fact that the Bengals definitely need this win more if they're going to paint them as a playoff team, which I think they are. I think they're going to still paint them as the top of the division, whereas the Ravens are going to be more of an X factor. And the Tua question. When Bridgewater came in last week, it was a very slow, almost college-level offensive system. So I think that's going to be a narrative where they're already getting on the league, supposedly, because Tua was cleared too quickly, and now he's listed as questionable. So while he might play, I don't think we're going to see what we saw the last 2 weeks. And he wasn't overly impressive last week, but I don't think we're going to see the Dolphins playing that way. So this will be a good excuse for the Bengals to get to 2-2. And I think a lot of people are going to fall into the trap and say, well, I'll take the Dolphins, especially +4, because they'll make it a close game. And that's going to be the narrative. So, yeah, we got the Bengals. That's our first leg of Sunday, or it's actually Thursday. And so all these are first bets, by the way. So what that means is for all of them, it's to win 25. Then we see how those games go, and that's where we go on the 4 o'clock games. This is just taking a second to load. And if you missed it last time, I wanted to show you guys. This is what we have so far. So the first leg was the 3 college games, which we tapped. We won the third. We won our second sequence with Cincy. Our third sequence, we won the second game with Green Bay. Our fourth sequence, we won the second game with Denver. And then we won Dallas on Monday. So here, we're going to have 3 new sequences started. And again, it's important we don't start too many at once. That's why I just couldn't do every game. You know, it would be really difficult. As our bankroll grows, we'll have the leisure to do, like I said, we're doing 3 games at once now versus we started doing just 1 game. So as you can see, the 3 outstanding wagers is the Texans +5, which I went over more extensively in my last video for week 4. But you can see, I just think the Texans +5. Most people are going to be liking the Chargers with how bad the Texans have played. That's our first sequence of Sunday. Sunday morning, this is the London game. We have a sequence going where we got the Saints +3. I did buy that half point. And then our third one is this one right here where we got the Bengals -4. And that's the Sunday. That's going to be the Thursday game. So this is going to be the first chronologically. So should the Bengals not cover, then I will put out a video for the next game of that sequence. But like I said, I'm pretty sure the Bengals look pretty safe here with the Tua question mark and what they have going on just in the narrative. And then again, the AFC West versus the AFC East has been pretty routine this year. So that's basically all I got. Like I said, I just wanted to get a couple games out there as well as just keep going over the way the system works so you guys could kind of see in lifetime how this works. But yeah, Saints I like a lot. I think a lot of royal symbolism being touted. And let's not forget about Aaron Judge. I find it really interesting. I think he's hitting a home run tonight. I really do. And the reason for that is we had a 431-foot home run by George Springer. So they walked Judge, it looks like. That's a narrative it looks like they're pushing too. Is Judge is getting walked. They're not giving him pitches. But Springer hit a 431 home run. Judge's batting average is .314. As you can see, .314. And yeah, he was walked. And home run is .413 in gematria. And the game might about to be 3-1. So yeah, there's a lot of 3-1s and 4s as you can see. So I wanted to just finish this video off. Just if you haven't checked out my Judge video, it might not happen, but I think he's hitting it tonight. So yeah, Judge home run tonight. I couldn't prop bet on that one, unfortunately. But I do think he hits it tonight. Ties that record. And again, happy earnings. These are the 3 games that I would pick just to start off. And like I said, we're going to see how Thursday goes before we do anything, because that one I expect to hit. But we'll be doing more videos. But I like these 3 a lot. And specifically the Saints one, that one I definitely have the most confidence in. All right, take care.